Let's do the men's.
Do the men's. Roundup, Cairns, hosed the Maroochydore Clippers 487-44. That's a 43-point humping. Maroochydore, like I said, I don't know what's going on there. They lost at the start of the season when they lost their coach.
But look at the team that Cairns had. They had Nathan Jawai, Dusty Reichard, Kerry Williams, Dwayne Vale,
Aaron Grabo.
Aaron Grabo.
How is that possible
Yeah.
to get all those players on the team?
Yeah,
it's impossible. But maybe it's, I don't know, it's the, who knows what clause it is. But I know Grabo gets recognized as being a local, even though Grabo is played all his junior basketball in, guess where? Yeah. Victoria. Yeah. He is not a Queenslander. He's got some sort of Dennis Donaghy rule where he can play as a local. Then they throw J-Waw in there, you know, fantastic. You're still not going to win it because they're not going to be there at the end.
First of all, J-Wa's just signed a contract with Barcelona, one of the biggest teams in Europe, EuroLeague. Is he even allowed to play?
I don't know. Who knows? They probably play his insurance.
He definitely played at least big minutes in Europe, like for the
He's
got
to be an import. Rijkaard has got to be an import.
Yeah. Is Kerry Williams an import?
I guess not. And I guess, you know, Grabo gets the grand whatever clause. Dennis Donahue. Dwayne Vale's not playing. Yeah. So, yeah. I guess somehow they work it out where they scrape in. Too bad you don't have that team the whole season because you're still going to miss out and you're still going to lose in the first round.
Even if they don't have Jawai for the whole season, the thing is with Cairns Marlins, they would be the dark horse because Dusty Reichard covers one need for them is having a decent big, and they struggled early in the year with their bigs. Dusty Reichard will cover that.
They didn't struggle when they beat Rockhampton at home, so full marks to Cairns if you can get it done. And you got to admire a guy like Dennis who looks after his team and does a great job. You know, but to get that group on there, that's a very talented group. Problem is, you know, J-Waw's not going to be there at the end. I don't believe. So they'll be around the mark. And they did knock off Rocky without Nathan J-Waw.
Yeah, but even if they can beat. Even if they can get into the third spot, that's all they need. If they get into the playoffs, they're the team to fear for, because if you have Mackay, whoever finishes out of Mackay or Rocky, one of them has to face Cairns.
At home, it'll be at either Rocky or Mackay. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Let's go down to the rum house of the Bundaberg Bulls, the infighting Bulls. Da na 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 na. Oh, never mind. That's another story. The Bulls, 92 in overtime, defeated the Gold Coast 86. Now, this from a team, the Bundaberg Bulls, that lost to the baby uncashed up Capitals by 26 on their home court, have come out and beaten the Rollers at home by 6 in OT. What the heck? If they were a horse, you'd swab them and go, what is going on? You find out they're infighting, literally punching each other up in training, and then they come out 2 weeks later and knock off everybody said the best team in the South, who clearly are not. They're sitting at 3-6 record. Gold Coast are not the best team in the South.
The thing is with Gold Coast, they must be spending time in Dreamworld with all those roller coasters because their season's pretty much like that.
Yeah, it is a roller coaster, and it's funny in coaching. You know, when you win the play, you got great players. When you lose, the coach is crap. So Mick Conlon goes from Coach of the Year now to you can't coach. You know, I think it's a little bit bigger than that at Mickey C. I don't know, mate. And I've been in the same situation as you have. Lots of talent trying to figure why are these guys playing very well together. And Galata comes out and spanks his old team by 20. So, you know, Mick Galata, very popular man. So, great win for Bundy. You know, it's like a blind man walking around Bundaberg basketball. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But somehow they beat the Rollers. No idea how. We're going to go up to the Ice House, going up the Ice House of Toowoomba Saturday night where they hosted the Brisbane Capitals. And in another barn burner, the Capitals minus Mitch McCarron now, and just like I said, swan diving. Might do enough to make the playoffs, maybe not. We'll see. This weekend's game will be, they lost by a point to Toowoomba, and I believe they were up by 20 at three-quarter times. Wow. Almost pegged them back. Almost pegged them back.
Wow.
I think Ligon must have had the hot hand. I know he had quite a few shots with 26 points. Masunda 19 for Brisbane. You know, that pretty much shows where Brisbane are. You know, you lost it. It's that close.
The problem with Brisbane, especially with Daly, is that he's got all the he has a lot of pieces. I think he struggles at times to like fit the right direction in the team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sounds like a duck. It must be a duck. That sounds like a duck.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I just, I don't think he's got the horses. I don't. He's got a guy that Masunda who works out in the mines, and sometimes he comes back. He doesn't train. Masunda, if he trained, would be good. I didn't realize that earlier in the season. No Mitch McCarron. Now, Mitch McCarron was their best player, I think. Like I say, Bairstow's hobbling around on one foot. Doesn't know what to do with Simon Taylor. Simon's a guy that you just play, put up with Simon making mistakes as he makes things happen, but he hardly gets on. I don't know. Ivan Pavnik's your second highest scorer. There's some issues there. And Ivan, I love you and you know it, but if you're the second highest scorer for Brisbane, there's some issues. I don't know what it is, but good on Toowoomba. That's their third win. I think they're right around there with Brisbane.
Before we go to the next game, let's say I was in that game at the Hibiscus game, Southwest Ipswich, and it was one of the most horrible games I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
101-89. Ipswich Forces defeated Southwest. 101 points. Some basketball people say that's an exciting game to watch.
Let's say that it was like the refereeing was a lot left to be desired. For both teams were getting really. Referees lost the plot at least on 2 occasions. They had made the call and then reversed it in a matter of minutes. There was infighting. It was fights in the game. It was one of the games that I was glad to get out of there as soon as it.
Well, I wasn't there. I was in Melbourne getting my ass kicked by 40 points, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Not about the referees, but getting accosted by 40. But I'm not making no comment about the referees because I get to have them occasionally in my game. So I understand what you're saying, and that's all I'll say about that. But it was a big game ladder-wise, because that gave the split to Ipswich and pretty much locked up first place in that pool, and in my mind pretty much stamped them as the best team in the South. I don't think you can argue with that. Obviously they'll have to beat either a crappy Bundaberg team or I'll just say a crappy Bundaberg or a crappy Brisbane team to make the Final Four, and I don't think there's to be any doubt that they will do that. So they're a lock to make the top 4 and are clearly the best team. Southwest, lost to Maroochydore when we were on our hiatus. Yeah. Maroochydore, really? Got humped by 50 or whatever by Gold Coast. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on at the pirate ship. I have no idea, but they're up and down worse than a yo-yo. So they'll probably sneak in there and grab that second spot, though. Gold Coast, I know they're 3-6, about the same record as Toowoomba. Either one of you could grab it, and that's a great spot because I don't think Northside are very good. I think Northside are, like a rudderless ship as well. So whoever gets that second spot has a chance to snatch that last position. But man, it's going to be that playoff, the one in the pool of ease versus the second team here will be a game that you'll need to take your no-dos, stay wide awake because honestly, Ipswich are the cream of the crop in the South. The rest of them can flip a coin as far as I'm sure.
Well, the thing is with Northside, they're getting Chris Goulding's back, so it depends. Have they had enough time to get him into form? Will I be able to figure out how to run the team?
So we're going to Northside again? Northside.
Yeah.
So Northside at home, Brendel got walloped by the Rockhampton Rockets 96-69. And as you said, Goulding played now, but their problem, and I spoke to the coach this week, and they're probably going to have a point guard. Pure and simple, no point guard, and with that group, you got a lot of guys that are shoot first, shoot second, and shoot third, and while you're hitting your shots, it all works, but you need to keep the big fella happy, you need to keep Goulding happy, you need to keep the American happy, you need to keep Carter happy, and you need to have a brilliant point guard, and they don't have one. That's their problem.
One person was telling me, he goes, it's impossible to have success when you have 3 perimeter players in your same lineup in Goulding, Carter, and Hurd in the perimeter. Like you need to have a little bit. You need to have at least 2 good.
I totally disagree. If you have a quality point guard and a good big, you do, and the only thing they're missing is a quality point guard. Unfortunately, those guys don't play the point.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have a point guard, and until that happens, they're not going to. Rocky just shows, mate, we're here. You know,
And
we are,
especially Rocky, who have at least two good point guards in that team in Mitch Phelps and Penny Nasala.
that can play the point. Yeah, you're right. And you know, they've got a strong first five. I question their bench. If you can get past their five, you know, that's why Mackay has a chance. But as I've said from the start, I think Rocky are the favorites. I know they've lost to Cairns since we had our hiatus, but I still think they're the favorite. You know, and Chris Hamill having 24 for the Wizards, I didn't even put him in that mix. He's another guy, shoot first kind of guy. You know, so they just got, let's shoot. Who's going to pass it to me? So Rocky did it easy on that Saturday night. Then we'll go to Townsville, where Maroochydore probably made a little bit better game of it. 62, they were beating 90 to Townsville, but it was never going to be a win to Maroochydore.
Yeah.
So Townsville got Blanchfield back, got Nordo back. They're pretty much at full strength. I think they're going to struggle to make that last playoff spot, though. And if they were in the South, they'd be top of the ladder, them and Ipswich. But they're not in the South, and they're going to be up there, and I think they'll miss out. Zeke Millen had 20 for the Clippers, and Blanchfield 23.
Yeah, it'll be hard because they lost some silly games as well, especially when they didn't have their Blanchfield and Nordo and Cedar, and they lost the games versus Gold Coast and Southwest. If they had those three guys, they should be able to take both games, and at hindsight, that's what's going to cost your playoff.
Yeah. Mackay hosted Gladstone on the Saturday night, and they ran their winning streak to 7, hottest team in the league, 106. Defeated the Jekyll and Hyde Gladstone Power 85. I never know what team's going to show up for Gladstone. Usually a crappy one. You know, I don't know. Must just be losing. I see even balanced scoring for Mackay, and Zach Silverman decided to play this game and had 26 points. Or I don't know where their other American was. I don't know where Illawa was. You know, you can never tell with Gladstone.
But at least they beat they beat Townsville away, so
in Townsville without Blanchfield, without Norton, big deal. You know what I'm saying? You got to win games like that. You know, who knows? I just expected more out of Gladstone, and they're the perennial underachievers in the Min-Com. And then we go to the final game. The uncashed up Capitals were beaten by 31 points by Rockhampton, rolling along 98-67. Caps, Ryman, lone hand, 21 points. Travis Reed had 29 backing up on the Sunday, and once again, no match for the upper teams in this. Both teams, both Wizards and Capitals, probably the two teams will make the playoffs, beaten by 30 at home against Rockhampton. Yeah. That's where your league is, folks. And you know, the only one in the South who has a hope of hell even coming close is Ipswich, who lost by single digits on the road to those teams. And you know, it just shows the difference between the haves and the have-nots. And Northside are going to finish top of their pool. That's sad, guys.
And it's got a lot testament to say about Rockhampton and Mackay, who spend a lot of money in their teams. Let's be honest in that. They have to, because there's not many jobs up there, so you've got to...
Hold on. They can, and they do. They don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't have to. They can, and they do. And they get great crowds, and they're able to do that, you know. I mean, spending money for them works well. But, you know, other teams, let me see. You know, oh, I can think of one. Spend money like a drunken sailor, and you're still, you know, getting humped by 30 on your home floor. So, you know, spending money is not what it's all about, but it's spending it wisely, and Rockhampton, Mackay have worked it out. You know, they're clearly, that's the level that everybody else needs to get to. And when, you know, the Central Pool leader gets beat by 30 at home, you know, and they're going to win the Central Pool, it's embarrassing. It really is. But that's what the QBL is at the moment, and you got your haves and your have-nots.
Oh, well.
Bingo.
Bingo.
I'm going to fart.
20